My name is Ivri Verbin. I'm the co-chairman of the Sustainability Steering Committee, the global one. In my day job, I'm running the sustainability practice in GT Israel. We actually finished just now 3 days of discussions with all the SSC members from 10 countries, 10 member firms, from Brazil to Dublin to the US, UK, New Zealand, and many more. For many years, GT didn't have a service line of sustainability. It only practiced sustainability internally. And it actually came to the awareness that because of the ESG ecosystem is very dynamic and it's actually growing and booming as we speak, that there is a real need in the market to develop sustainability as a service line.
I'm Jim Burton. I'm a partner in the U.S. firm. I lead the ESG and sustainability practice for the United States. I started with the firm 34 years ago as an auditor in Silicon Valley. In around 2020, when we were business planning and looking ahead, we kept seeing sustainability and ESG and the subject matter coming up over and over again. And so we concluded that we probably needed to put together the skill sets that do ESG and sustainability work, as opposed to the ad hoc approach that had been undertaken from that point. I've been the chair of a committee at the AICPA, the Assurance Services Executive Committee, for about 6 years now, and that's where sustainability topics sit. Reporting of sustainability information is a key element of the services we provide. Having somebody from the audit practice made a lot of sense, and since early 2021, I've been the leader of sustainability and ESG services in the U.S.
Therefore, we established, in the first place, a center of excellence built on different working groups, and the steering committee that is giving the strategic guidance for it. As you know, ESG stands for environment, social, and governance, but it has maybe 10 main verticals: responsible supply chain, ethics, corporate governance, transparency and reporting. It's really a huge subject, maybe 200 and more KPIs under the umbrella of ESG that one can count. We now in a process of developing the network offering that is moving forward very fast because of the demand of the regulation, because expectation from investors, and because of requests from customers.
You know, a lot of people think ESG is a particular solution, or it's a service, just like audit or tax or advisory. And ESG is really subject matter. It's a lot of different elements that are important to the business's short-term, medium-term, and long-term success. It really is about ESG subjects making a business more sustainable and driving sustainability in the organization over the long term. And so it becomes important to an entity because by paying attention to these areas, it helps you deal with the elements that will make the business successful. Now, a lot of people think ESG is new, and I'll tell you it's not, right? Most of the ESG topics are issues and are business problems that our clients have been facing for years. From a people perspective, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion have become buzzwords that are popular in the last 2 or 3 years. But attracting, retaining, and engaging talented employees has always been important for the long-term success of an entity. Hire good people, get good results, right? Changing consumer demand, how your customers are changing and how you modify and alter your products, your services, and your business to address those consumer needs are sustainability topics. But what's different now about ESG is the reporting side of it. So companies are finding it necessary to report information about their diversity and workforce management programs, about their climate-related issues, because climate affects not only the supply chain, but their revenue streams, their cost base, And entities are looking to this information to determine how well is a company positioned in managing them. We've been publishing financial statements for businesses for decades. Nobody blinks an eye about putting out a set of financial statements. Sustainability reports and sustainability information are new.
Sustainability and ESG is a management approach that take into consideration the expectation of different stakeholders. It's not for tree huggers. It's a business approach that comes with many dividends integrated into it. The dividends to our clients are varied from better reputation, better risk management, engaging the people, retaining them from increasing the motivation, reducing cost if you talk about the environmental aspect, less energy, less paper is less money. And this is a win-win situation because we call it doing well by doing good, meaning that if you do the right things, either the market or the regulators or the media will give you a dividend. They will support you, they will buy more from you, they will invest in your company. Now, so the ecosystem has migrated from something that is very qualitative to more and more quantitative. The regulation become more and more clear and rigid, and companies don't know exactly how to deal with it. Therefore, us as auditors, us as advisory teams can help them. Today and in 5 years from now, it will be almost integral and part of any business, and it's not nice to have anymore. It's really must have. If you don't perform sustainability and report and communicate it in a professional way, you will not have a space in the business place. And therefore, we at Grant Thornton invest more and more in delivering this service line globally.
We really have to think about what are our core competencies and what are we good at. Start with the tax function, right? Tax is very good at tax reporting, the compliance, the application of tax laws, the identification of credits and incentives and opportunities in an organization. Those apply to most of the ESG subjects as well, whether they be climate-related incentives or employment development-related incentives or investment incentives. The ESG subject just brings in a new element of that in. So our ability to report from a tax perspective, to handle tax compliance matters and structuring matters to take advantage of opportunities that are driven by sustainability topics, those sound very much like research and development and incentives and investment and global tax reporting, where we've got a great capability. On the advisory side of the world, when we think about strategy, how does an entity grow its business? The sustainability area provides you with opportunities to grow your business and improve your business around the sustainability topics. Think about transformation. How do we change our business, right? How do we improve the cost structure, optimize the efficiencies, improve the throughput of the organization? All the ESG subject matters align perfectly well to the skill sets we have in our transformation business and in our risk business. How do we better report? What are the controls around? How do we get comfort in the data and the information that we need to use for business decisions or report externally? The risk business is perfectly aligned to address all of these sustainability topics. And lastly, from the audit and assurance perspective, I mean, the market values trustworthy information. So when you think about our auditors and how good they are at gathering evidence around the validity and the accuracy and reliability of reported information, adding that trustworthiness to this information that the marketplace is demanding and requesting or regulations are putting in place, our auditors are perfectly positioned to make that more valuable information through the assurance services we provide.
Yes, maturity is different within different firms. If I'll take, for example, it's a matter of culture and the DNA of the country. But if you go to Sweden or to the Netherlands, in which sustainability and even the UK is part of the country culture for many years. So they offer a very good way of preparing for the CSRD, the European regulation of disclosing sustainability data. They have a very nice way of what we call in materiality assessment, going to a company and finding the right, the impact, where is the impact of the activity of the operation of the company, and not, it's like the financial materiality, but it's measuring impact and not dollars. So it's really different way of thinking. We are also very good as auditor in auditing and verifying, but greenwash is not acceptable anymore. And even there is more and more litigation against those companies. Even only last year, there were like 2 or 3 big European companies went to court because they were accusing of using wrong data. And as auditors, I believe it's our role to be precise and help these companies and the investors who look at the data that they publish and to give more credibility to the publication of their sustainability report. I mean, a good report is neutral. It also need to identify what are the goals to improve by the company's sustainability strategy. And not all companies feel comfortable in showing their weaknesses. But us as auditors need to give them the confidence that it will improve the credibility, even to the brand and increase reputation.
Well, right now in most firms across the network, sustainability-related skills and capacity is at various different levels. And so the network relies a lot on the capabilities across those firms to provide service to both domestic and international clients. There's a regulation in Europe called the CSRD, the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, that requires global companies between now and 2029 to report information on their organization's attention to sustainability matters, starting with climate and moving on to other areas. Many of our European firms have developed significant expertise in that directive and are sharing that information with firms around the globe whose domestic clients who have international business will be required to report under that. So the sharing of that knowledge across the network is very valuable. A second example is, again, with respect to some reporting, but many companies around the globe who've been publishing sustainability reports for years are very much interested in how good is this information? Is it reliable? And am I able to provide investor-grade information to the marketplace? Our risk teams in many countries are looking at the systems, the processes, and the controls that these entities are using to compile this information and report this information, and then feed it back to the organization, just like we do in an internal control over financial reporting engagement. Sustainability is not a subject that affects, only certain size companies or only companies that are in a particular industry. It affects all entities across all businesses because it gets into how do I interact with my customers? How do I interact with my current and future employees? How do I interact with my entire supply chain? And in some cases, how do I interact with my regulators? And everybody across the network at all firms, whether you're a tax professional or an audit professional or an advisory professional, you need to be aware that ESG affects every business. And it's not something that, the ESG group will handle that work. Every one of our professionals needs to understand that global business is affected by this, and you dealing with your individual client can provide great advice on sustainability-related topics or things that Grant Thornton can help with.
If you think about the term sustainability, by definition it's global because pollution and climate has no borders. So we must cooperate in order to our supply chain, our exchange, we must cooperate. It's a good vehicle also to carry the network values. because through performing sustainability, you can show innovation, you can show cooperation and collaboration and professionalism.
Well, I think as developing leaders of the firm and the future leaders of the firm, our clients trust us to give them advice, right? We want to make sure that we've got trust in every interaction, that we bring the information that they need. And ESG subjects, if your client is not already thinking about it from a sustainability perspective, they need to think about it. Now, they may not take up action today. They may not engage us tomorrow to work on one of the many types of projects that can be there. But if they're not thinking about what makes their business sustainable in the long term, the trust that we've built with that organization is really not coming through, right? We know a lot about their business. We should make sure that we're having conversations about what's going to make them successful in the long term.
I think that the more they will take ESG and sustainability into the core business, they will be more impactful in delivering sustainability. Sustainability is not things that are inside out, like giving charity or doing a good thing for the environment. It's how you integrate these values into your business models. On the personal level, I believe that a leader and a manager that want to develop himself in the global world must speak the language of sustainability. So I think it's also a win-win for you when you develop your career in the network. And today more and more business schools teach sustainability, and it's really becoming integral part of being a good manager. A good manager that take care for not only for the balance sheet, but also for the environment, the community, the people, and the suppliers, for all these stakeholders to create a better, good, and a win-win situation.